إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today I wanted to come to the community to address an issue that hits a segment of our community, a segment of the community that Allah Azza wa Jal has put His rahmah upon them additionally to the other rahmah. And they are our elder men and women who don't have to fast, to the people who are taking medication. They have diseases and sicknesses that the cure, Allah knows the reality of it. They're going to remain sick. Wanted to talk about Allah Ta'ala has given you a concession that you don't have to fast. But as I mentioned, this issue would touch a number of people of our community, but it won't touch the vast majority of you. So we decided to delay that message for Sunday after Salat al-Asr. The weekly class after Salat al-Asr is going to deal with that. The rahmah of Allah upon people in terms of Ramadan, those people who don't have to fast. Pregnant women, even if they're in the first trimester, she's only 1 month pregnant. The woman who's suckling, and other than her, those people, the travelers, everybody who doesn't have to fast. And this issue is close to me because I have some family members, extended family members, who feel if they don't fast and they don't feel like they're real Muslims, and they make things difficult upon them, and they cause their sicknesses to exasperate. The hypertension, the high blood pressure, other issues, they become more severe. So when I see our elderly walk into the masjid being helped by their son, and he's walking with a cane, I asked the sheikh, "Are you fasting?" He says, "No." So we make the dua for him and on him. May Allah bless you for your fiqh in the religion, because Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't want that from you. So again, we're going to delay that topic, inshallah, until Sunday after Salat al-Asr. Today we want to deal with an issue that touches all of us. And it is a serious issue, and it is connected to the month of Ramadan. Anyone who has been blessed with eyesight, physical eyesight, if he comes to the city of Birmingham and he goes to Alam Rock, Small Heath, Spark Hill, Spark Brook, some of these other places where the Muslim population is large, you will see at 8:30, 8:45, our streets are deserted. There's no traffic at all. And that's because Muslims heavily populate these neighborhoods, and as a result of that, no one's on the street because they're in the masjids or they're at home preparing to break their fast. When we see issues like that, it's very easy to be hard upon ourselves and to be very critical what the Muslims are not doing and how bad we are as people. But when the month of Ramadan comes, we all feel a sense of gratitude, a sense of shukr lillah that we're Muslims and that the religion of Islam is the haqq. Al-Islam is the truth, and Ramadan helps us to feel that way. Yes, we have issues, we have problems. We're not the best specimens of Muslims, but when it comes to the month of Ramadan, every Muslim starts to feel Al-Islam is the truth. And the fact that those streets are deserted and people are not out there making fitna and fasad is a dalil, a clear proof. The khair is still in the ummah of Muhammad. People in the month of Ramadan are trying to do more. In an attempt to do more, though, a shaitan is still at work doing a lot of issues. And one of the things that he does is he has caused a lot of Muslims to continue to neglect the salat. Those of us who have children and they're 10, 11, 12 years old, many of our children who are of the age of praying, we don't put pressure on them to pray. And some of us are in the dilemma. If you put pressure on them, they get pushed away further from the deen. And if you remain quiet, you're going to be held responsible for that. And that thing in your heart about I have children who are not praying will continue to disturb you. We have those people in our community, those of us, adults, who were negligent and neglectful when it comes to the salat. We have relatives who, in the month of Ramadan, their iman increases because they are Muslims, but they don't pray at all. Some of them, this is the first salat that they're praying, the salat of al-Jum'ah, because that's all they pray in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan. So we would like to say categorically, unapologetically, without any hesitation, because it is the fatwa of the ulama of al-Islam, past and present. If a person is not praying, then wallahi, he doesn't have a fast. He is not fasting. Meaning his fast is not batil, it's not rendered null and void, but there's no reward for the faster who is not praying. Allah is not in need of that particular type of fast. You and I, if I'm negligent about Salatul Fajr on a constant basis, and I'm not making jihad and you're not making jihad to get up for Fajr and to make these prayers, the 5 prayers during the day, your Ramadan and your fasting is suspect. If you're used to not praying Fajr, that's just how you've been for years and it's a struggle, but you've accepted it and you've embraced it and you didn't do anything about it before Ramadan. Now is the time to try to do something about it, to change that program, because if you keep staying asleep and thinking that you can just stay asleep and wake up at dhuhr time, before dhuhr, after dhuhr, and just pray and continue to fast, then your fast, there's something wrong with your fast. And that's because, ikhwani, the salah in al-Islam is heavier than the fast in al-Islam. In the scales with Allah, the salat is more important than the siyam. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam sent his companion Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen to give da'wah to the Yemenis. May Allah ta'ala help Ahl al-Yemen in the fitna and the fawda that they're dealing with right now, politically and economically and other than that. When he went to those people, the Nabi prepared them sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and told them, إِنَّكَ تَقْدُمْ عَلَى قَوْمِ أَهْلِ كِتَابٍ فَلْيَكُنْ أَوَّلَ مَا تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَيْهِ عبادة الله فإذا عرفوا الله فأخبرهم إن الله قد فرض عليهم 5 صلوات في يومهم وليلتهم فإذا فعلوا ذلك فأخبرهم إن الله قد فرض عليهم زكاة تؤخذ من أموالهم. Ya Mu'adh, you're about to go to a group of people in Yemen, they're Christians and Jews. So make the first thing that you call them to, before you go to the second thing, make the first thing you invite them to. These non-Muslims, invite them to worship Allah, know who Allah is and to worship Allah. If they know who Allah is and they accept La ilaha illallah and I'm Rasulullah, after that let them know that Allah has made obligatory upon them 5 prayers to be done every day and every night, the 5 prayers of Islam. If they start to do that, they accept that, let them know that they have to give zakat, that the zakat will be taken from their monies, taken from their rich and distributed amongst their poor. This hadith goes to show the tadrij of al-Islam and the arkan of al-Islam. If a person is praying, he's with us right now, and he's praying and he does the mechanics of the salat, raf'ul yadayn, and other than that, he knows how to stand and he knows how to read, but he doesn't believe in the shahadatain, wallahi, he doesn't have any salat, because he missed the first prerequisite. First prerequisite is tawheed of Allah and accepting the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you do that, go to the next point. And if they accept that salat, go to the third point. If the person is fasting, and he is not praying, he doesn't have any fast, meaning the reward of that fast is batil. The fast counts, inshallah, he did what was wajib upon him, but the reward of that fast is a problem. The Nabi told his companion, the same one, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Ala ukhbiruka bi ra'sil amr wa umudihi wa dhirwat sanamihi. Should I not tell you what is the head of the matter, Ya Abdullah, in this religion? You want to know the head of the matter? Do you want to know the pillar of this whole issue? Do you want to know the uppermost peak of the issue? He said, Bala ya Rasulullah, what is it? He said, the head of the matter, the most important matter in this deen, in this religion is al-Islam. And the pillar is Salat. This religion is predicated upon it. There's nothing more important than Salat in al-Islam other than the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. And you and I, for the rest of our lives, are not going to do anything better than this Salat, which is wajib and it is maktub upon us. And the peak of the matter is jihad. But the Salat is more important than the jihad. The 5 prayers is more important than the jihad. The jihad is the most important issue from the nawafil. But the Salat of al-Islam is more important than the jihad that's fardu ain. And that's because the person is going to pray all the time, no matter what he's going to pray. All of these are indications, ikhwani, of the importance of the Salat. So I want to share with you today. And this is the hadith, or the Masjid of Ahlul-Hadeeth, the markaz of the different masajid of Ahlul-Hadeeth up and down this country. Al-Imam Ahmed, who was one of the imams of Ahlul-Hadeeth, who we look at, who we pattern our understanding of al-Islam after, from his book that was taught in this masjid and other masajid of Ahlul-Hadeeth up and down this country. He said, from the asul of the sunnah, from the asul of the sunnah, from what this religion is built upon, the minhaj of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way he gave dawah, the way he existed, the way the people should be after him. He said, from the asul of the sunnah is for the Muslim to believe that the one who abandons salat is a kafir. The one who abandons the salat is a non-Muslim. He said it's from the asul of the religion in that famous book. And that's because ikhwati fillah ummatil Islam, the salat with those companions was an issue that they did not mess around with. Fathers, mothers, Muslims playing around with the salat. You and I being negligent, being lazy, playing around with the religion, with the salat, is tantamount to playing around with the deen. It is a sign of disbelief, a sign of lacking sincerity, a sign of hypocrisy in the person, that Allah Ta'ala will give him all that he has given him, all that he has given us, and the individual is laxed and negligent about the prayer. He allows his children to exist without praying, without giving dawah, his mother, his fathers, relatives, neighbors. Sees people and he doesn't say anything, to come into the masjid and to see children who are of age, maybe they're 8 and 9, they're in the masjid, to come into the masjid and men see the child in the masjid and doesn't say to him, hey, come, get in the salat. Something's wrong with that, because with the companions, this salat was a serious issue. You want to see how the salat was with those people? There was a tabi'i by the name of Abdullah ibn Shaqiq al-Uqayli from the tabi'een. He narrated and learned from Umar, Uthman, Ali, Aisha, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah Umar. He said about those companions radiyallahu anhum ajma'een, كان أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يرون شيئا من الأعمال تركه كفرا غير الصلاة. The companions of the Nabi, the stars of this ummah, they did not see anything from the deeds and the actions that if you abandon it, it is kufr other than the salat. If a man left making hajj, they give him an excuse. He has a window of opportunity, he can go next year or the following year. Maybe his finances did not allow him to go this year. If the man didn't give zakat, they said it's not my business. If he remained silent about it and he wasn't verbal in not giving zakat, they didn't really get on that man about that. If a man left birrul walidain, he'll say that's between him and Allah, but he's still a Muslim. He doesn't respect his parents. He drinks khamr, between him and Allah. We'll give him advice, but he's not outside of the religion. Smoking crack, that's between him and Allah. Making zina, him and Allah. We take a position, him and Allah. But if a person abandoned the salat, those companions said that man is falling into an issue of kufrun billah, the only thing. That's how the Salaf looked at it, that's how the companions looked at it. And they're the blueprint, they're the example. You want to see how the Salaf looked at the salat? The great tabi'i al-Imam al-Zuhri, Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, from the younger, smaller tabi'een, tremendous scholar in Al-Islam. The long hadith in Al-Islam, most of them revolve around this man. He's always in those narrations. He said when Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, that scholar of the companions, when he came to Syria, Damascus, he said, I went to meet him. When I went in his room, he was crying. I said, what is it that makes you cry? Anas ibn Malik, the companion of the Nabi, told him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa radiyallahu anhum ajma'in wa ardahum لا أعرف شيئا مما أدركت إلا هذه الصلاة وهذه الصلاة قد ضيعت. Anas said, I don't recognize now with the tabi'een, living right now after the death of the Nabi and the subsequent years that have transpired, I don't recognize anything that we were upon during the time of the Nabi, the way we were, the way the Muslims were. I don't see that in you people from the tabi'een. You're the second best generation, but I don't see you when I compare you to what Abu Bakr and Uthman and Umar, when we read that Qur'an. Those companions were in the masjid listening to the ayat of the Qur'an, knowing why those ayats were revealed, living and knowing why these ayats that were read about Surah Al-Badr in the last 2 days, yesterday, day before yesterday, they knew all of those ayats. What happened? It's not like us, we don't know what's going on. Those who know Arabic, we don't know the tafsir, we don't know the history. Those companions, I don't see with you what happened with them. And the only thing that I see that you people have is the salat. And the salat has been lost. That's what he said to the tabi'een. The salah has been lost. This hadith has been collected by the Imam al-Bukhari. One of the scholars who gave the explanation of the hadith inside al-Bukhari is Ibn Taymiyyah's student, Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. He has a book called Fath al-Bari. He said the meaning of Anas ibn Malik's statement, the salah has been lost, is that during that time, the leader of the Muslims was a tyrannical man by the name of Yusuf, al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. He used to do what the Nabi prophesied sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told his companions, there's going to come a time when your leaders are going to delay the salat. The salah has been lost, meaning the time has been lost during the time of the tabi'een. How was it lost? This man, al-Hajjaj, he used to combine salat al-dhuhr and salat al-asr, and they would pray it right before Maghrib time. And if you got caught praying these prayers by yourself, he would deal with you and do something with you. So the companions, what did they do? The Muslims, what did they do? They did what the Prophet told them to do. When he prophesied it, he said, when these imams come, pray the wajib, pray in your house, and then come out and pray with them the sunnah. On Friday, with al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, on Friday, the Jummah that we're praying right now will be prayed at Maghrib time. Imagine. And don't sit there and say, well, if I was there doing that time. No, Anas ibn Malik was there doing that time. Abu Hurairah was there doing that time. Usamah ibn Zayd was there doing that time. And they used to pray behind that man. Because Ahlus-Sunnah, Ahlul-Hadeeth, we pray behind every Muslim as long as what he's doing is not kufr. So the point here is, look at the Salaf. Anas ibn Malik was crying because of the condition of the salah. And what was the condition of the salah? Were the tabi'een and those people not praying? It wasn't that they were not praying. It was the tyrannical leader was delaying the salat. He was delaying the salat. So it had an impact upon him. Now here, without the tyrannical leader, there are those of us who pray late all the time. Dhuhr is being prayed at Asr time, Asr at Maghrib time, Maghrib at Isha time. There are those who pray, they go to work in the daytime, they pray Dhuhr, Asr, and Maghrib all at the same time. And there's no tyrannical leader. It's from his own. That's how it is. Every day I wake up, I'm going to pray Fajr at the wrong time. And it's just the way I am. It's my Islam. You want to know the position of Salat with the Salaf? Look at the authentic hadith that's been collected by Imam Ahmed, Al-Imam Abu Ya'la al-Mawsali in his Musnad, and Al-Imam Muhammad Nasr al-Marwazi in his book, Ta'zeem Qadr al-Salat. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was passed by a man from the Khawarij. He was passed by a man from the Khawarij. The people started saying, Ya Rasulullah, he's such a good man. Ya Rasulullah, he's such a pious man. Ya Rasulullah, his ibadah is ibadah. When he walked away, the Nabi said to his companions, who from amongst you will go and kill that man? Abu Bakr said, I will. Abu Bakr went to deal with the man, rolled up his sleeve, took his sword out. He found the man praying. Abu Bakr turned back, said, Ya Rasulullah, the man was praying. The Prophet became a little bit upset. He said, who will go and kill the man? Umar radiallahu anhu, Umar said, I will. And everybody here knows that Umar radiallahu anhu was a man who didn't hesitate in this issue. Dhul Khuwaysira, the father of the Khawarij, when he grabbed the Nabi by the neck and said, give me some more money, it was Umar who said, Ya Rasulullah, let me chop his head off. I'm not going to do it on my own, and you're the leader, and I take the affairs in my own hand. You're in charge of the institution. You're in charge of the community. I'm not going to just do something on my own. I want to get permission from you, although I feel this way. Let me do it. The Nabi said, no, don't do that. There's a reason I don't want you to do it. When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the boy Ibn Sayyad, who they thought was the Dajjal, and he said some stuff, Umar didn't like it. He said, Ya Rasulullah, let me chop his head off. Umar was not afraid of taking someone's head off of his shoulder, especially when he disrespected the Nabi or al-Islam or did something or said something of kufr. He'll chop your head off, he'll hit you in your head, he'll deal with you. Umar radiallahu anhu went to take care of the business. When he got there, the man was still praying. Umar radiallahu anhu turned around. Ya Rasulullah, the man was praying. Who's going to do this thing I'm asking? Who's going to kill the man? Ali said, I'll do it. Ali ibn Abi Talib. The Nabi said, you go and do it, but I don't think you'll catch the man. He went, the man was gone. This hadith shows us the position of Salah with the Salaf, the two most important people in this ummah after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, why did he turn around? The man was praying. Can't kill someone who's praying in al-Islam. If the Nabi wanted to deal with the people, he would first wait. If he was there at Fajr, if they heard the adhan, they would let him go. If they're making the adhan, the salah comes next. Can't kill people who are praying, even if they're non-Muslims. Can't kill them while they're praying. Umar radiallahu anhu, why did he turn around? He respected the salat. Umar radiallahu anhu, in what was collected by al-Bukhari and Muslim, he said, I was in the masjid and I heard Hisham ibn Hakim radiallahu anhu reading Surah Al-Furqan in a way that the Nabi didn't teach me. I memorized that surah, I learned that surah, and he was reading it with a different harf. He said, when I heard it from him, I was about to go and grab him, but the man was praying. So I waited for him. When he finished praying, that's when I grabbed him by his neck and I dragged him to the Nabi. And I told him, this man is reading the Qur'an, Surah Al-Furqan, in a way that you didn't teach me. And he had the man by his neck and his clothes. Didn't let him go in front of the Nabi. The Nabi said, let him go, Umar. Let him go. Read the Qur'an. The man read the Qur'an. Umar read the Qur'an in a different way. He said it was revealed like this and like that. Umar's sunnah was what they learned from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the position of salat. I have been sent to fight the people until they bear witness La ilaha illallah. They make salat and give zakat. If they do that, their blood is protected divinely. The Salaf used to respect this issue, Khwani, of a salat. They know and they knew, the Muslims should know, that the salat is a preventive measure in taking the life of an individual. You want to know how the Salaf were concerning the salat? One of the greatest scholars of al-Islam from the Tabi'een, Al-Imam Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, told the people, كانوا إذا أتوا الرجل ليأخذوا عنه العلم نظروا إلى صلاته وهديه وسمته. The people of the past from the Salaf, they were a group of people who, if they came from another country, they came from Mecca to Medina, they came from Egypt to Mecca, they came from Syria, and they went to Khurasan, they went to Iraq to get knowledge. He said, before they would sit to be the student of that individual and to take knowledge from him, they will look at how that man prayed, how he prayed, how was his guidance, how was his character. If he didn't measure up in his salat, if he prayed like a chicken, they wouldn't take knowledge from him. Now, if they wouldn't take knowledge from a person who didn't pray right, a person who didn't pray correctly, they wouldn't take knowledge from him. What do you think was the case with the people of the past if a person didn't pray and he wanted to teach them. If a person didn't pray and he wanted it to work for him, a person didn't pray, he wanted to come and visit him and live with him as his guest, his cousin, his relative, his niece and nephew comes to stay in your house for the summertime and they don't pray. What do you think is the case of the people of the past who would not take knowledge from a person who didn't pray correctly? He didn't take a sutra. He didn't do Raf'ul Yadayn. He didn't do those things that you should be doing in the salah. They will look at him, even if it was an issue of ikhtilaf. Ikhtilaf. Some of those scholars in the past, ikhwani, depending upon the way you pronounce the name, Ibrahim Rahuya, Ibrahim Rahaway, depending upon you, the way you pronounce the word would determine how they looked at you. Not to mention how you prayed. What do you think is the case if a person came to them and said, I want to marry your daughter and I don't pray? It was something that was not fathomable for them. Impossible. Don't knock on my door. Don't knock on my door. You don't pray? You a kafir billahi. Meaning you're falling into an issue of kufr, and some of the scholars of Islam said that it was kufr that takes you outside of Islam. Ummatul Islam in the month of Ramadan. I speak to myself first. I speak to my family members secondly, and I speak to all of you, mothers and fathers, brothers, all of you. As-salat as-salat. As-salat as-salat. Ummat al-Islam. As-salat as-salat. That's what the Nabi said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to this community before he died. He lost consciousness. He woke up and he said to this ummah, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, out of all of the things that they needed to hear, those intelligent people, the blueprint, he said to them, as-salat, as-salat. Take care of the prayer, take care of the prayer. Fell out, conscious, out of conscious. Second time, same thing. As-salat, as-salat. Third time, same thing. As-salat, as-salat. And then he died. So the last things that came out of his mouth was not astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. The last thing that came out of his mouth was advice. As-salat, as-salat. Umar radiallahu anhu, as I mentioned in this masjid in the khutbah before, about the benefits of his death when he was assassinated radiallahu anhu. The people knew that Umar was going to die. They knew that he was going to die. He wasn't responding to what people were saying to him when he was on the bed. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I can get him to respond. He went and he said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, as-salat, as-salat, it's time for salat. Umar radiallahu anhu looked at him and came through and said to him, La iman liman la salata lahu. There is no faith for the one who doesn't pray. He responded to that. Amir al-Mu'mineen, wake up, wake up. He doesn't respond. Amir al-Mu'mineen, your children are here. Amir al-Mu'mineen, the governor is here. Amir al-Mu'mineen. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I know what'll wake him up. Amir al-Mu'mineen, as-salat, as-salat. Umar radiallahu anhu woke up and said, La iman liman la salata lahu. There's no faith for the one who doesn't pray. Ummat al-Islam, as-salat, as-salat. Our children, our wives. But before that, we have to leave from the front. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى الثبات والتوفيق. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Lastly, ikhwani, I share with you a hadith that we told the people last night. There are many people here, at some point in our lives, we didn't pray. For one reason or another, your parents were not strong on you about prayer, so you left off a lot of prayer. Some of you still, we have issues, we pray some and we miss some. The Nabi told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the authentic hadith, the very first thing that Allah is going to look into Yawm al-Qiyamah will be the prayer. If the prayer is good, all of the other deeds will be good. If the prayer is bad, then the other deeds will be reflective of that. Another narration, the very first thing that Allah is going to look into Yawm al-Qiyamah will be the prayer. He will say to the angels, see if my slave completed the prayer. If he did all of the prayers, the wajibat, or if he was deficient. If they were deficient and he missed some prayers here and there, in his teenage years he missed some prayers. He was one of those negligent people, missed Jummah here, missed Jummah there, missed some of the wajibat prayers, like Al-Eid or whatever, he missed some prayers. Allah will say to the malaik, and he already knows, he says, take those prayers that are the tatawwa, all of the prayers that are not from the wajibat, the 5 prayers, take all of those prayers, Taraweeh, Ad-Duha, the 2 rak'ahs before Jummah, the prayers before and after the 5 prayers, look at all of those prayers that were not wajib, and complete those prayers that were wajib as a rahmah to us, as a rahmah. So that's a goal and the objective. That is an incentive. Wallahi, a shaitan every day, he wants to make us people who don't pray this Taraweeh. He wants that. And everyone gets that wiswas. I'm tired, get out of the line, it's not wajib, I'm going to go home and do it myself. And we go and we don't do it. And if we do pray by ourselves, it's not the salah in the masjid, the long qira'ah and other than that. People are saying crazy things from shaitan. Oh, the recitation is too long, it's too slow, it's this, it's that. Ya akhi, you missed a lot of prayers in your life. Now, do you think just like that, hocus pocus, just like that with all ease, you should just be forgiven just like that? Allah can forgive you like that, but you have to try to do something. From your own hands, you can try to equal out the scales or even make them heavier. Ummatul Islam, attend the masjid, your local masjid, and pray the Taraweeh prayer. And while you're there and you're tired and your feet are hurting, just remember, Ya Abdullah, you missed a lot of prayers that were wajib in your life. Kufrun billahi. You missed a lot of prayers. So continue to be patient. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept what we're doing in the month of Ramadan and try to increase every opportunity in the month of Ramadan, these prayers that are from the tatawwa, in the hopes that Allah ta'ala will complete what we missed from the wajibat. But we can't forget the importance of at-tawbah ilallah, tawbah, for the prayers that we miss. As-salat, 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 as-salat. We ask Allah ta'ala to give us the tawfiq and making us successful to be of the people of the Musallin, those people not negligent about their prayer, and that He helps us, inshallah, to begin to taste the reality of the sweetness of the iman that comes as a result of praying to Allah and having a discussion with the Lord of the world in the mode and the method that was sent to us from the sky, showing us the best way to talk to Allah, the best time to read the Qur'an. The closest we can be to Allah is in that prayer when we're in that sajda. May Allah accept it from us and make it easy for us. Aqim as-salat, yarhamakumullah.